Hyundai Leadoff Man. Brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Check out the award-winning Hyundai Sonata at myhyundaichicago.com.
Oh, that great statue of Ernie Banks. We saw Ronnie's statue as we started the show today, and Ernie will be up here in the booth during the seventh inning stretch. Well, Ryan Dempster would like to go deep into this game. The Cubs bullpen has been pretty busy the last 2 days. Let's hear from Dale Swaim on what he expects from the Cubs starter and a scouting report on Milwaukee starter Yovani Gallardo.
Well, I mean, it's always important, the way the bullpen is, today you need, 6 innings would be nice. Obviously, a complete game would be the ultimate, Hopefully his track record against the Brewers continues today, minus Ryan Braun. He's not in the lineup today. And so hopefully we can, get some points on the board early and, do some things and add on and, get him through the game. Get him to the 7th inning. It would be nice for the bullpen right now. Well, I mean, he's a guy that, hopefully he doesn't have his command down in the strike zone. When he has his command down in the strike zone, he can be really, really tough and throwing his slider, cutter, and his curveball, both working at the same time. He can be really tough, but he's still a fastball pitcher that when his fastball's got his life and he's down in the zone, he's very difficult. When he struggles is when he can't get strike one and he gets the ball up in the strike zone. So, hopefully we can be patient and get the ball out over the plate because he's not a guy that's going to, pitch inside a lot. He doesn't do any of that much. So, you can't take advantage of some things. He's not real quick to home plate. You can try and take advantage if you get the right matchups out there on the bases too.
And speaking of Gallardo, he won 17 games last year, but he gave up 4 home runs to the Cardinals in his opening day start last week. As we go to break, let's take a look at the Cubs minor league report. We focus in on AAA Iowa. Randy Wells got a no decision against Albuquerque. Adrian Cardenas, an interesting middle infielder. We may see him at some point if there's an injury on the infield during the season. And third baseman Josh Vitter's off to a hot start at the plate. More to come in a moment.
The Hyundai Leadoff Man. Brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Check out the award-winning Hyundai Sonata at myhyundaichicago.com.
Let's go first to third as we look around the major leagues. Vin Scully missed the Dodger home opener for only the second time in the last 63 years. Guess he's got a bad cold. Hopefully Vinny will be back in the booth very soon. The Arizona Diamondbacks, the only unbeaten team in the National League. They're 4-0, while Detroit is 4-0 in the American League. And yeah, the Ohio Lottery winners, Brandon Phillips of the Reds and catcher Carlos Santana of the Cleveland Indians, both get long-term extensions. It's the Brewers and Cubs on a sunny day from Wrigley Field. Next. We are at the famous corner of Clark and Addison, the address of Wrigley Field for Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. Today, the Brewers and Cubs play Game 3 of a 4-game set. We welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. Hi again, everyone. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. The wind keeps turning around. It's blowing straight in from center here today. Let's talk about former Cub Aramis Ramirez, now the everyday third baseman of the Brewers. Bob, off to a slow start, but he's been productive in terms of knocking in runs.
He's made the most of his hits so far. Drove in a run with a sac fly, drove in a run with a fielder's choice in this series. You see his numbers, career here at Wrigley Field, and the numbers at the bottom we talked about. Slow start with the bat, but getting guys on home plate. He's always been a run producer.
Should be a good matchup with Ryan Dempster, whose first pitch in spring training against Ramirez went over Aramis's head. It was a pretty good outing on opening day for Ryan as well.
Oh, a tremendous outing for Ryan Dempster. I don't think any of us quite knew what to expect, but he had a real good split-fingered fastball and a real good slider. When he has those off-speed pitches working, he can be dominating the way he was against the Nationals on opening day.
Dempster unfortunately got a no decision, but was very, very good as he worked deep into the ball game. The Cubs will need that today. The bullpen has been busy so far in this series. Yovani Gallardo on the other side Those are numbers you don't normally see from him.
Well, especially the walk total. That's a big key for him, throwing the ball over the plate. Good low fastballs, good low breaking pitches. Doesn't feature a changeup. Got to make him get the ball up in his zone.
Yeah, he gave up 4 home runs in that game against the Cardinals. Let's go down to the field for our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise. Kindly remove your caps and join Wayne Messmer, accompanied by Gary Pressey at the Lowry organ, as they honor America with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
The great Wayne Messmer gets us set for Cubs baseball from the friendly confines next. Cubs baseball brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. The Illinois Lottery. Do you believe in the power of possibility? The Illinois Lottery. Anything's possible. And by Ford. manufacturers of more fuel-efficient vehicles than any other brand. Check them out at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. Chicago Cubs baseball in high definition is brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Before the Cubs take the field, we will set the umpires for you today. Lance Barksdale, Mississippi native, will work the plate. Fieldon Culbreth, Adrian Johnson, and Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief, will man the bases. And it's cold, not as cold as it was last night. We had a left to right wind for game 2. The humidity's up a little bit, so the air feels a little heavier, and it's blowing pretty much straight in at this point.
I think it's every bit as cold as it was last night. It's just brighter, that's all.
If you're fortunate, extra humidity might make it feel a little colder. Yeah.
And if you're fortunate enough to be sitting in the sunshine, you'll probably enjoy your afternoon here at Wrigley Field. But those in the shade, including us, bundled up.
Well, we'd love to hear from you today and every day. Keep in touch. Len and Bob at Tribune.com. And you can also join us on our Facebook and Twitter pages as well. Milwaukee winning the first 2 games of this series, 7-5 on Monday night and 7-4 last night. Cubs winning on Sunday, salvaging the finale against the Washington Nationals. Well, Ryan Dempster really did pitch to the conditions. He also missed a lot of bats against the Nationals, but this is another day if he wants to leave the ball up a little bit. Probably won't hurt him too much. Ryan Braun is not even in their lineup.
And then we want to let our AT&T U-verse viewers in Chicago and around the country on WGN America know that during every Cubs home game this season, if you go to channel 780 or high def channel 1780, you can see a special multi-view presentation that shows you all of our different live camera angles here at Wrigley Field. Pretty cool. So if you want to direct the game along with Skip Ellison, give a look to AT&T U-verse channel 780 or high def channel 1780.
Now the Milwaukee Brewers starting lineup, written out by Ron Renicky. Norichika Aoki makes his first major league start in left. Ryan Braun and Jonathan Lucroy with some minor chest/ribcage tightness, most likely due to the cold. So they're out of the lineup. You see what Morgan has done or not done against Ryan Dempster. So with Braun out, Ricky Weeks is going to hit third, and George Kataris will be back at the plate.
And let's check out how the Cubs take the field defensively today. Behind Ryan Dempster, brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Soriano, Bird, and DeJesus once again across the outfield, left to right. It'll be Ian Stewart and Starlin Castro on the left side of the infield. Darwin Barney, Brian LaHare will man the right side. Giovanni Soto behind the plate today for the opening day starter, Ryan Dempster. That was the numbers opening day. The no decision against the Nationals. Just really, really good. You mentioned he was missing bats. That was something he had some trouble with last season. He could get to 2 strikes, but just couldn't seem to consistently put hitters away. That was not the case on opening day. Had a devastating split finger fastball working.
He, as always, had success against Milwaukee. 15-5 lifetime, and you add in 10 saves when he was the closer. So his most wins against any opponent and the most among all active pitchers versus Milwaukee. There's Norichika Aoki, a good friend of former Cub Kosuke Fukudome. They both played in the same league, the Central League in Japan. And I think Aoki has leaned on Kosuke a little bit about playing the outfield here at Wrigley.
I heard earlier this morning that Kosuke was scheduled to get his first start for the White Sox this season in right field in Cleveland.
He's 1 for 4 today as the White Sox have a big lead. We are underway here. A strike on Aoki. One bounced out in front of home plate. Pitch is low.
And you notice Aoki, like a lot of players who come over from Japan, a very unorthodox hitting style. Hits out of an exaggerated crouch, chokes up on the bat. But watch that right foot, watch that front leg. Gets all of his weight back onto the back leg, but rather than just pick it up and put it back down like a lot of hitters do, he kind of almost has a windup. You'll see him turn that right hip in, bring that leg back, and then stride toward Ryan Dempster. It's almost like a counter windup.
And he draws the leadoff walk. Going back to the first game of the season, Ryan Dempster gave up a leadoff single on the first pitch to Ian Desmond. He then walked Danny Espinosa before eventually escaping. Paul Maholm last night walked the leadoff man Ricky Weeks, but could not get out of it until he faced 10 batters and gave up 5 runs in his Cubs debut. Stewart way in at third with Morgan at the plate.
With no Ryan Braun and no Corey Hart in the lineup today, look for Ron Renicky maybe to push some buttons over in that first base dugout, play a little more hit and run, try to steal some bases.
Second-year manager Ron Renicky. Tough to improve on last year's win total. Franchise record 96. There's the bunt by Morgan, and Dempster will have to take the out at first. We'll go 1-3 on a sacrifice. Got to add up the sacrifices for the Brewers in this series. They've had a bunch: sac flies, sac bunts.
Very unselfish offensive group. Well, we showed you the numbers for Tony Plush against Ryan Dempster. He figures if he can help his team by moving a runner into scoring position, he's going to do it.
Count 6 sacrifices in the series for the visitors, 4 of which scored runs in game 1. 2 sac flies, 2 squeeze plays. Dempster will turn 35 on May 3rd. Swing and a miss. Wait to see the military represented enjoying the bleachers today.
Really an attempt to pick the runner off at second base just to shorten up his lead a little bit. There have been some very shallow sac flies in this series. As you mentioned, I think Dale Swaim wants his pitchers and middle infielders to make sure those runners at second base and also at third base shorten up that lead just a little bit, give the outfielders a chance. Best seat in the house. Oh, Dad's gloves for the afternoon.
Two and one on Ricky Weeks. Time called just as Dempster was getting ready to throw.
It was probably 2 or 3 years ago, Len, that the umpires were instructed not to allow timeout.
That was late.
Very late. Dempster had already started his move toward home plate. The idea being you didn't want a pitcher to injure himself out there on the mound with that late timeout call, but Looks like we're back to the time before a couple of years ago.
Knocked down by Castro, and he can't get anybody out. Even after the knockdown, it looked like he was still thinking about trying to get Aoki at third. And instead, they get no outs.
Well, they won't be credited as 2 errors, but that's one right there. That's another one right there. I mean, Aoki was going to advance 90 feet. Weeks was probably going to reach first base, but in his haste to get to that ball quickly and try to get the lead runner, he just didn't get a good handle on it.
And that'll bring up his former teammate, Aramis Ramirez, who has knocked in 3 in the series, even though he has just 1 hit.
When was the last time you saw Aramis Ramirez take a first pitch fastball right down the middle of the plate?
Been a while.
I think that goes back to the first pitch of spring training that was right at his head from Ryan Dempster.
Pulled on the ground. He'll try to turn 2. Stewart, Barney, LaHair, and they get out of it. Dempster gets the double play ball. The error doesn't hurt. The Cubs are coming up. Six as a team. Now their Pepsi lineup brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. DeJesus, Barney, Castro 1 through 3. Soriano, Ian Stewart with good numbers against today's Milwaukee starter. Brian LaHair is at first, off to a very good start. Giovanni Soto hit a homer last night. Marlon Byrd needing to get something going today, and Ryan Dempster hits 9.
Quick look at the Brew crew defensively. One of the faster outfields you'll see this season, with Aoki in left, Gomez in center, Niger Morgan over in right field, Ramirez, Gonzalez, Weeks, and Gamble third to first across the infield. George Kataris, the left-handed hitter, doing the catching today. For a right-hander, Giovanni Gallardo. His numbers in his opening day loss to the Cardinals. Good fastball, good curveball, good slider, no straight changeup. Very unusual. I talked to their TV analyst Bill Schroeder about it, and they said when Gallardo was in the minor leagues, he had a tremendous changeup, but just kind of lost the feel for it somewhere along the way. So decided he's not going to throw it at all.
He's only 26, and he's coming off the best year of his career. 17 wins, finished 7th in the NL Cy Young balloting. David DeJesus crunches one to deep right center. Gomez going after it. It's going to be right at the base of the wall. DeJesus will pull up at second base with a leadoff double. First extra base hit of the year for DeJesus.
That ball was struck well. Really nice swing down and through the ball. Got a lot of backspin. I mentioned the speed of this Brewers outfield today. Had to hold your breath with Carlos Gomez chasing that one down in the gap, but even he can't catch up to it. Let's start offensively for the Cubs.
It'll bring up Darwin Barney. 2 for 8 in this series with a homer, a couple of walks, and 2 runs. Was born in Michoacan, Mexico, but went to high school in Texas, went to Trimble Tech High. He actually played with and against Cubs left-hander James Russell when they were teenagers. Played on the same travel team and then for different high school teams. One shot foul right side out of play. Not only the ace of their staff, but he can hit as well. Certainly a guy Ryan Dempster will not take for granted in the batter's box. Worked like a bunt. And as Barney grounds out, DeJesus at third, 1 away.
Yeah, definitely not what Darwin Barney intended to do, but the end result is a good one. David DeJesus on at third base with 1 out in the inning for the 3, 4, 5 hitters in the lineup. Gallardo with a quick peek toward third base and then decides just to take the sure out at first. I don't believe they would have had DeJesus at third, but it would have been nice for him to throw one over there off the tarp somewhere. I guess the tarp's on the first base.
I knew what you meant.
Throw it over there. I don't care.
Castro an 0 for 5 Monday, ending a long on base streak. It reached 43 games, one of the longest such streaks in Cubs history. Last night he doubled in his first plate appearance. He drives that one out into right, and that's going to give the Cubs the lead as Morgan makes a catch. DeJesus will easily score standing. A sac fly for Castro.
And hopefully we'll see a lot more of that from Starlin Castro this season. It's pretty tough to improve on the number of hits he had last year, but taking advantage of RBI opportunities is going to be big for Starlin this year, hitting in that 3 spot in the lineup. Didn't need a base hit right there to get the man on home plate, and the Cubs take an early lead.
Well, that's a really good point. As Soriano bats with 2 outs, teams will pitch Castro differently this year because theoretically he's going to come up more often with runners in scoring position.
Gets back to that old saying, take what they give you. If they're not going to throw you something from the middle of the plate in, you can turn on and hit hard to your pull field. If they're going to stay away, you're going to have to take your sacrifice flies and ground balls to the right side to move runners.
Backhanded by Ramirez, and the throw will beat Soriano by a full step. Cubs get a run on the sac fly by Castro and lead 1-0.
Is Cubs Authentics, the premier outlet for special MLB authenticated Cubs memorabilia. From game-used baseballs, bases, and jerseys to autographed bats and photos, Cubs Authentics has the most exclusive Cubs memorabilia. Visit the Wrigley Field Concourse, the Cubs store, or email CubsAuthentics@Cubs.com for all your Cubs memorabilia needs.
Table setter doubled to start the inning, and then later driven home by number 3 man Starlin Castro. So Cubs lead 1-0, 2-0. Matt Gamble. Will be followed by Alex Gonzalez and then George Kataras. Wide of first, foul. Deep to right for Matt Gamble. And he missed a homer by a couple of feet. Good play by DeJesus, however, to play that carom, and a strong throw to second. So Gamble with a long single.
Line drive straight away right field, just in front of the new Budweiser patio out there. Bangs off the middle of the wall. DeJesus briefly lost the handle right there, but Gamble had already slammed on the brakes at first, content to stay there with a single.
Alex Gonzalez skies one foul, facing his former Marlin teammate Ryan Dempster. Gonzalez yesterday, or last night, with a key 3-run homer in the first inning. Gonzalez 4 for 8 since starting the year, 0 for 9.
And I was just thinking before that Gamble single off the right field wall, he's got a chance to put up some impressive RBI numbers this year if he continues to hit the way he has in the Brewers minor league system. Hitting behind Ricky Weeks and Ryan Braun and Ramos Ramirez, figures to have a lot of traffic on the bases when he comes up. Some good power numbers at AAA Nashville last year, 28 home runs. And we know Miller Park is a tremendous hitter's ballpark.
You know, normally there would be a lot of pressure on a guy like Matt Gamble having to replace Prince Fielder, but he really came into a perfect situation in that the Brewers brought everybody else back. At the end of the bat as Gonzalez chased one, and Brian LaHare will make the catch. Time now to look at today's Illinois Lottery's Anything's Possible player. Ryan Dempster, after his Tommy John surgery as a Chicago Cub, really has been a changed pitcher. I have to think the arm issues before that led to some bad numbers, but also maturity. Learning from some veteran players he was around. The Anything's Possible player brought to you by the Illinois Lottery, who each day make anything possible. There's Kataris with one out. And a fastball in there for a strike.
For George Kottaras, it has to feel a little unusual catching Yovani Gallardo. 22 of his 31 starts last season, he was behind the plate for left-hander Randy Wolf. Ron Renicky figuring that your backup catcher has to give the starter a day off from time to time. Kottaras and Randy Wolf were on the same page more often than not, so he in effect became Wolf's valet catcher.
You know, talking about fielder, and for the Cardinals, Albert Pujols, one thing we are going to get into as the season goes on is some of the new sabermetrics and the stats that are used more often now than ever before. And I think one of them is wins above replacement. It's essentially, you know, how many wins one guy might be to his team versus a replacement level player, which we talked about in spring training. And I think when you look at some of these numbers, Bob, you realize that one individual player may not be as significant to a team as people think. Now, for instance, last year, Prince Fielder, according to Baseball Reference's WAR, or wins above replacement graphic, was worth 5.2 wins above replacement. Now, if you hear Prince Fielder's worth about 5 extra wins, doesn't sound like a lot, does it? There's a base hit. I mean, you add it up and it is significant. He's one of the better offensive players in all of baseball. But when you hear people flippantly say, well, they lost Fielder, so they're going to lose 20 more games. Well, that's not necessarily the case. And we see in St. Louis, the Cardinals have, at least early on, used that team concept in terms of offense. And so far, they've made up for the loss of Albert Pujols.
In some instances, you lose a superstar caliber player like Fielder or Pujols, and you become a different team. You become a different offense. Guys take on different roles within the offense, and it's not always for the worse. Sometimes it makes you a better team because you're not so reliant on that one guy to come up and hit a 3-run homer late in the ballgame. You've got to find ways to score every time you get runners on base. I'd still rather have Prince and Albert in my lineup, but
no question.
I take your point.
And really, when you think about a 25-man roster, everybody's on the plus side in terms of wins above replacement. It's going to add up to a lot of victories. And a balk. You know, Dempster stopped with his leg kick, but I think it was after he heard balk. So something happened before that. Right there.
Yeah, just ever so slightly started up with the glove and then tried to continue on and not get caught, but Lance Barksdale right on top of it. Part of that rhythm we talk about with the pitcher. Ryan Dempster gets his sign from Giovanni Soto, comes into his set position and gets the appropriate grip on the baseball, and there's a certain timing to that, and apparently just didn't have the right grip, but started up with the glove anyway.
That'll be caught by Darwin Barney. Like that line handcuffed him just a little bit. Maybe got into the heel of his glove, but he was able to catch it. 2 down.
It's a little broken bat floater out there. Barney able to hang on using that small second baseman's glove. There's not a huge pocket in that glove to catch little humpback liners like that, but he's able to cradle it into the glove for the second out of the inning.
Well, Gallardo, who is not an automatic out by any stretch. A Silver Slugger 2 years ago when he hit .254 with 4 home runs. He has a Brewers franchise record, 9 homers as a pitcher in his career.
Well, with that in mind, Ryan Dempster starts him with a nasty slider, gets a weak swing and a miss. Gallardo going up there to cherry pick that first pitch fastball. Another slider cued right off the end of the bat.
Right on, dude. I think maybe he'd wear long pants and might not need the blanket, but.
With 2 runners in scoring position and 2 outs in the inning, Dempster's going to make Gallardo work for it. Steady diet of breaking pitches just off the outside corner. He's run the count to 1 and 2. So Gallardo wanted to let the bat go that time. That pitch just strayed a little bit too high out of the strike zone, even for him.
Swing and a miss. His first strikeout of the day. And the Brewers have left 3 on in the first 2.
Along with Dale Swaim, log on to WGNTV.com right now and click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you're watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more.
Underway here in the bottom of the second. Cubs leading 1-0, trying to get their first win in this series after the Brewers took the first 2. Another day game tomorrow. Zach Greinke and Matt Garza. Another really solid pitching matchup. And a 1-1 on Stewart. Happy birthday wishes today go out to Dimitri Tianis. Happy 17th. Also to our fine graphics operator Mark Stencil. He's a little older than 17.
He's got shoes 17 years old.
One and 2. Dimitri, that's from your dad, Jim. And there's Mark Stencil's scalp. They also want to send a shout out to Al Fujara and his wife Karen. I'm sure they're watching this afternoon and rooting on the Cubs. Al, a former Chicago police officer, huge Cub fan. Had a chance to spend some time with Al over the winter.
He didn't get arrested, did he?
No.
Oh,
I did
okay.
not. Before I said former.
Oh.
And he's got some old Bob Brenly baseball cards that I want to have you take a look at some point.
That's the only kind there are.
We had a long one last night, 3 hours 19 minutes. But I think you and I both got home before the rest of our WGN Sports crew were working the Bulls game. They tipped at 8:45 at the UC last night. And Stewart swings and misses. Strikeout for Gallardo.
One of the things an organization will tell a young minor league player is go down to the minors and show us some consistency. Well, you can't get much more consistent than this. 13 starts at each one of these levels. 2 of them in 06. Brevard County was A-ball, Huntsville AA, and then in 07, Nashville AAA. The strikeout and walk totals are nearly identical. And all those numbers across the board almost identical. So if you want me to be consistent to get to the big leagues, here. And the only time he's been back to the minors since then was on a rehab assignment.
18 games over 500 in the majors with a 3.68 earned run average. 1-0 on the way to Brian LaHare is a strike, 1-1. Giovanni Soto on deck. And now a 3-1 count on LaHare.
Good to see Brian being patient this at bat. I think in spring training he got a little overly aggressive. That was one of the things that was impressive about Brian LaHare at the end of the season last year was his eye for the strike zone. But it seemed like in the Cactus League he was really trying to force the issue and takes a ball 4 right here. Good to see.
Bring up Giovanni Soto, hit his first homer of the season, leading off the bottom of the ninth last night. You see the Cubs all-time home run list among catchers. He is currently 4th on the list. 2 guys we had in the booth on this homestand ahead of him, Jody Davis, Andy Hundley. That'll be an easy 4-3 double play. Hit it right to Ricky Weeks. 1-0 Cubs after 2.
baseball season on WGN TV is brought to you by Bud Light. It's a sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Second start of the year for Ryan Dempster. He was brilliant on opening day. He outpitched Steven Strasburg. Deep into the 8th inning. Struck out 10. First Cubs since Lon Warneke in 1934 to hit double digits on opening day. And in fact, the run he allowed scored after he was taken out. Aoki, the leadoff man, takes a strike. He walked to start the game, would end up being stranded at third. How about this one for you, partner? Of all the Japanese position players who've come over the past 15 years, how many have been right-handed hitters?
Oh, man. I can't even think of one.
I can think of one. Chiyoshi Shinjo. Now, I know that he's not the only one, but when you think of all these guys who've been left-handed hitters, Aoki, Fukudome, Matsui, Hideki Matsui, Kaz Matsui, switch hitter.
It's an interesting point. I never really knew that. And I talked about it earlier, the hitting style of Aoki, which is vaguely similar to a lot of the Japanese players who have come over to play in the United States. Maybe they're a little closer to first base, running out of the batter's box as they swing the bat. This lends itself better to being a left-handed hitter.
Tadahito Iguchi, the White Sox, right-handed hitter. So Iguchi only played 4 years in the big leagues. Ichiro would be the one left-handed hitter that certainly stands out. He'll be a Hall of Famer.
And with this hitting style, once he gets to 2 strikes, you get the feeling Aoki can foul off every pitch that's thrown his direction. He just bailing and wailing right now, just flipping at the ball into foul territory, third base side, topping it at home plate, just trying to stay alive. And like a lot of guys at the top of the order that don't possess great power, it would seem the approach would be fastballs up and out over the plate. Let him see how far he can hit it in the air.
Tsuyoshi Nishioka, the switch hitter with the Twins. Two and two now.
The spray chart there, everything away, 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 middle of the plate away.
From the air to left, right at Soriano. Played perfectly. Fans, don't forget to check out our WGN Baseball blog on WGNTV.com. It's brought to you by Jeff Vukovich, nationwide agent serving the area for 33 years for your auto, home, and business insurance needs. Contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com. I have a post today on the Cubs' young arms, and also check out Ryan Dempster on the WGN Morning News, talking about the 3rd annual Dempster Foundation Casino Night. which will be at the Palmer House, Chicago on May 9th. Go to DempsterFoundation.org for more information. Morgan grounds out. Now Ricky Weeks reached on an error in the first inning, batting third today with Ryan Braun getting the day off. I'm cold butt, and it looks like it says the Cubs are hot. Okay. Inside to Weeks. Jeremy Hellickson, last year's AL Rookie of the Year, right-hander for Tampa Bay, taken to the hospital for precautionary reasons. He was hit in the head during batting practice in Detroit. That's scary. We talk about that a lot. Hard to believe more guys don't get hurt during BP. Dempster with a 1-0 lead in the third. Coming up, brought to you by Captain Morgan. Raise your glass, always in moderation, to life, love, and loot. Best-selling author John Grisham and Ernie Banks will team up as Marlon Byrd grounds out to Alex Gonzalez. Byrd now 0 for his last 17 and just 1 for 19 to start the season. Here's the pitcher, Dempster. Brandon Phillips signing a long-term extension this week with the Reds. Well, he's actually been out of their lineup, having a hamstring injury. This Reds tied with the Cardinals 3-3 in the bottom of the 8th. Lance Berkman not in the Cardinal lineup today with a calf. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Lance Berkman not in the lineup today. The Cardinals are off tomorrow. And then the Cubs and Cardinals will play on Friday, so not sure if Berkman will be in the lineup.
Oh, that's a nice look there. Onesie.
Yeah. We will have that game for you right here on WGN Friday afternoon from St. Louis. Jesus with the lone run of this game after leadoff double in the first, moved to third on a ground out, and then scored on a sac fly.
Save the platoon.
Marcus Hanel, longtime bullpen catcher for the Brewers.
Cover that grenade. They do something for fun down there in the bullpen other than try to stay warm. As a bullpen catcher, that's part of your job, is to protect the guys who might actually get in the game.
He's run at full 3-2. You know, it's nice to give guys like Marcus Hanel, Andy Lane a little pub. They do such hard work. They probably work as hard, if not harder, than anybody on the staff catching bullpens.
On batting practice.
Right.
Yeah.
Marcus Hanel is in his 13th season as the Brewers bullpen catcher, and he played 11 years in the minor leagues before that. And there's Andy Lane over on the Cubs side. Andy joined the big league club last year. Does a great job.
Bullpen catchers seemingly always have shin guards on. Maybe not the chest protector, certainly not the mask all the time, but I think they wake up in the morning and just put the shin guards on. I mean, not only do you warm up the starting pitcher for a while and everybody that gets loose in the bullpen during the game, but as you well know, Len, there's side sessions to be caught earlier in the day. Pitcher might be working on something in his delivery with the pitching coach, and somebody's got to catch those pitches.
Good battle here. De Jesus hanging in there against Gallardo.
This is just what the doctor ordered here after the quick one pitch at bat by Marlon Byrd, and then Ryan Dempster retired quickly. David De Jesus needed to see some pitches, forced the Brewers to stand out there a little bit longer, forced Gallardo to throw a few more pitches, and he's accomplished that.
And he draws the walk. Mentioned this the other day. For whatever reason, when Barney has come up, and in this case with 2 outs, Aramis Ramirez ends up at least even with a bag at third, if not closer to home plate.
And I really just don't get it. I mean, we know Darwin Barney, and certainly Aramis Ramirez should know Darwin Barney, being a teammate of his last year, but Darwin doesn't bunt for a base hit. I can't recall one time him trying to bunt his way on base, especially with 2 outs in the inning. I mean, it's good for Darwin. We'd like to draw all the infielders in at the edge of the grass.
Powers one out to deep right center, but Gomez battling the sun, and that was just self-defense. Held the glove up right in front of his face and made the catch on a well-struck fly ball. Best man.
There has to be a burro parked somewhere in a gold mine in the vicinity.
Cubs have Ramirez positioned perfectly on defense as Aramis hit the ground ball right up the middle to Darwin Barney.
Hey, this Father's Day, the 3rd annual Wrigley Field Fantasy Camp allows you to live the dream of being a Chicago Cub at the friendly confines. On June 17th, you and a guest will watch the Cubs take on the Red Sox from a luxury suite. And then on June 18th, spend the afternoon playing baseball with Cubs legends and lead your team to the championship game under the lights. Sign up today at Cubs.com or call 773-388-8270.
Gamble with a single his first time up. Barney gets another chance. Gamble's ground ball. Consecutive ground outs. Coached by Ryan Dempster. We mentioned international best-selling author John Grisham will be handling the stretch and hanging with Scott Turow. See all those writers hang together. Michael Harvey. John is a huge baseball fan. He's in fact got a new novel out called Calico Joe, and on the cover, Bob, is a picture of Wrigley Field.
I'd say his career change has worked out well for him.
Yeah. He was a lawyer, then he wrote a book, and then he went, well, I think I like writing a little bit.
That's right. It was pretty cool. This is about as involved a conversation as you will see talking over a 2-0 pitch. Sometimes as a pitcher, you have a better feel for some of your arsenal than other pitches in your arsenal. And, you know, the catcher is used to calling a game for you based on what he saw last time out. And some days a pitcher just doesn't feel the same as he did last time out. And all that conversation resulted in a sinker right down the middle for strike one.
Now 2-2. It's Kataris on deck. And good meeting.
Good meeting.
They go down in order for the second consecutive inning. Still 1-0 Cubs.
Upcoming Cubs schedule tomorrow, the series and homestand conclusion against the Brewers at 1 o'clock. Friday, the home opener for the Cardinals at 2 o'clock right here on WGN. And then Saturday, a national TV game at noon against the Cardinals. Ford manufactures of more fuel-efficient vehicles than any other brand. Check them out at your local Ford stores or online at localfordstores.com.
Starlin Castro responsible for the only run of the game to this point with a sacrifice fly in the first inning. Two and one the count. White Sox over 500 after a 10-6 win at Cleveland today. A 4 right off the bat in the first inning off Justin Masterson. At 9,072 at the ballpark in Cleveland. Astros out. A.J. Brzezinski had 3 hits today. 4 RBIs. Toronto beat the Red Sox 3-1. Ricky Romero over John Lester in that one. The Red Sox are 1-5. This will be Ricky Weeks on the other side of second once again. Low throw, no problem for Gamble. Tickets are available now for the 2012 Cubs season, including the next homestand against rivals the Reds and the Cardinals, April 20th through the 25th. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office. Well, that game in Toronto, the teams combined for just 6 hits. 8 total bases. Bunted by Stewart, and it's going to roll foul. Well, the Brewers continue to put on shifts. I mean, you've got Stewart and LaHare from the left side. They overshift on the infield to the right. And Soriano and Soto, they shift the other way.
Well, you can see Ian Stewart very deliberate. Didn't have to be perfect with that bunt. Unfortunately, it trickles into foul territory. You saw where Ramirez started from. We talked about it a little bit last night. That's really the only weapon you have against that shift. You bunt that ball down the third baseline and get enough base hits, and eventually they're going to have to come out of that exaggerated shift to take that bunt away.
Two balls, 2 strikes. There's LaHare on deck. Tigers trying to remain perfect. They had a 2-0 lead going into the 9th and couldn't hold it. It's 2-2 Tampa Bay and the Detroit Tigers. Base hit Ian Stewart.
That's another weapon you can use to beat a shift. Just hit it over the shift. Line drive that time, back up the middle of the field. We talked about it in the opening series against the Nationals. Ian Stewart didn't get off to a great start in the Cactus League this year, kind of acclimating himself to a new team, new surroundings in spring training, and he just didn't look comfortable at the plate. But as camp went on, with each passing day, he looked more and more comfortable. The bat looked a little quicker, started to catch up to some fastballs, and we'll square him up a little bit here in the regular season.
Big swing by LaHare as he dribbles it foul. In that game in Detroit, Justin Verlander gave it up in the 9th. So with a 2-0 lead, Jim Leyland stayed with his starter.
Which is a pretty safe bet under most circumstances.
I would agree.
Yeah, but you begin to wonder at what point do all those innings start to take a toll on somebody as good a pitcher as he is. At some point you have to wonder if all those pitches thrown, all those innings pitched, are going to start to take away from Justin Verlander's effectiveness. I'm sure the American League hitters are hoping it happens quickly.
Well, the thing is, he went 8 1/3, gave up 2 runs, so it's a pretty good start, even though he had a shot at a win and can't get it now. Pause by Gallardo, swung and a miss. 3 strikeouts for Gallardo. Seems to be getting better as the day has gone on. I see. Bottom 3 in the Brewers order, starting with George Kataris, who has a home run. It was a pinch hit blast on Friday. First pinch hit home run of his career.
Backup catchers don't get to pinch hit very often. For obvious reasons, you don't want to short yourself just in case the game happens to get tied up or go extra innings and something happened to your other catcher. So take full advantage of that opportunity coming off the bench.
Steve Clevenger may get a few more chances than most backup catchers to pinch hit. Blake DeWitt's the #1 option from the left side off the bench. And Clevenger, he's a guy you would like to use. He can hit.
Well, he hits the fastball. That's what his skipper Dale Swaim said. And that's the kind of guys you're probably going to see late in a ball game. And it's a little safer to do late in a ball game, pinch hit with your backup catcher. So not out of the question that Steve Clevenger is going to get some opportunities late in games against some pretty good setup and closers.
Swing and a miss. For strike 3.
You don't see a lot of soft tossers late in a ball game. Ryan Dempster strikes out Kataris. All you have to do is think back to that opening series of the season here at Wrigley when the Nationals just trotted one reliever after another out there to the mound, throwing in the upper 90s. Talk about Henry Rodriguez and his 94-mile-per-hour changeup.
That's lined to left and caught by Soriano as he robs Carlos Gomez. Tell you, that's about 4 or 5 excellent catches out and left by Soriano.
And this might have been the best one, Len, because this is tough. A sinking line drive hit right at you. Very little time to react. Soriano does what Dave McKay has been preaching all spring: be aggressive. And able to come in and make the tumbling catch just above the turf out there in left field.
It's been a team effort, and Dave McKay, the Cubs' new outfield instructor, has given Alfonso special attention on the defensive side. Hitting the cutoff man, getting to the wall, fielding grounders in the outfield, and you see it really has paid off early on. Fly ball out to right. David DeJesus keep on running toward that third base dugout halfway home on a Wednesday. Cubs lead 1-0.
Today's Bud Fan Cam. Unmistakable sound of the Black Keys with Lonely Boys. That's our Bud Fan Cam, brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds.
7-8-9 for the Cubs as they try to add to their 1-0 lead. And the 1-1 count on catcher Giovanni Soto hit into a 4-3 double play his first time up. There's 2 hits apiece. Only run came in the bottom of the first. Chris Heisey with a game-ending RBI single in the bottom of the 9th. Reds 4, Cardinals 3, the final. So Cincinnati avoids a sweep and improves to 3-3. Aroldis Chapman back in the bullpen. Start the year after stretching out as a starter. Well, he got a second win for the Reds. Alex Gonzalez to Matt Gamble. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Marlon Byrd with 1 out, nobody on. That would be foul. Guys early on don't mind looking at their batting average if it's .470. Other guys like Marlon Byrd just don't even look at it for the first week or so.
Right, it's hard not to, especially when you go on the road. Some of the big electronic scoreboards, they'll flash your batting average up there in 15-foot tall numbers for the world to see, and it's hard not to notice. But the good thing is, early in the season, you're just a couple of good games away from being right where you want to be. A couple of 2 or 3 hit games, and suddenly that number looks a little better on the scoreboard.
A little better look at Marlon this year. He came back from the fractured face by wearing that face guard, but didn't wear it from day one in spring training this year. Back-to-back groundouts, and we'll bring up Ryan Dempster with 2 gone.
Can you have any more buzzard luck than David Wright and the New York Mets? Off to a good start, won 4 of their first 5 games. David Wright with a broken right pinky finger, diving back into the bag at first. He hasn't officially been placed on the disabled list yet, but just another in a string of injuries the last couple of years for the Mets. Wright was out for some time last year. Jose Reyes, and Santana, Daniel Murphy all missed time last year with injuries.
Ike Davis. Yeah. They're going to probably wait until Friday to decide whether or not Wright will go to the DL.
One of the possible alternatives at third base, should he go on the DL, is former Cub Ronnie Cedeno getting some playing time over there. Although Daniel Murphy figures to be the guy to get most of the playing time if David Wright is out any extended time.
That's trailing the Nationals 1-0 in the 7th.
Oh, by the way, David Wright was 7 for 12 in his first 4 games this season with a homer and 4 driven in.
Cedeno getting the start today at third, in fact. Another ground ball. This one picked up by Ramirez. Just a lonely boy. 1-0. The hottest new area in Chicago sports, the all-inclusive Budweiser patio, now open here at Wrigley Field. For more information and to purchase tickets for the 2012 Cubs season, call 773-404-4200 or visit Cubs.com/premiere. There's the Budweiser patio with that LED board in front. And that's a good place to be. Right in the sun on this cold day. One nothing. The Cubs have the lead as we get into the 6th. We mentioned Ryan Braun not in the lineup with some minor chest and ribcage tightness. Corey Hart not in the starting lineup. I assume Hart will be available. Not sure if Braun would be for a late pinch hit at bat. They do have potentially some firepower late in the game at Ron Renick's disposal. It's one of those things about occasionally having your starters on the bench.
I mean, this is definitely a team sport, and you never know when you have good players like Ryan Braun, Corey Hart available off the bench, good bats to bring up there in an RBI situation. As an opposing manager, it's always in the back of your mind, but you're never quite sure when you're going to see them.
Aoki leading off an inning for the 3rd time. He stands pretty close to the plate. And it's 3-1. Chokes up on the bat. Swing and a miss. Niger Morgan on deck. Still looking for his first career hit against Ryan Dempster.
You watch the Cubs outfield shift on Aoki. When the count gets to 2 strikes, Soriano goes even a few more steps closer to the third base line and a couple steps more shallow. Marlon Byrd moves over into the gap in left center, and David DeJesus gives him the right field line. He's just looking to slash that ball to the opposite field.
He lines into right to start the inning.
I'm perplexed, partner. We talked about it in his last at bat. Throw it up and out over the plate. He hit the ball on a line to left field last time, right to Alfonso Soriano, but you throw him an off-speed pitch that speeds up his bat. He catches it out in front of home plate, and instead of hitting the ball into the teeth of your defense, he's hitting it to the side of the field where you have one defender out there in right field. Just don't get that. You're doing a favor to a hitter like Aoki by throwing him off-speed pitches on the inside part of the plate where he can pull them.
See what Morgan does here. He laid down a sac bunt in the first inning in this situation. And he takes ball 1. If you're looking for some Stanley Cup predictions, I think if you went into each clubhouse, the 2 guys to talk to would be Ryan Dempster and Niger Morgan. Huge hockey fans. In fact, Morgan got to skate with the team he roots for, the NHL San Jose Sharks, over the winter. But an often told story, he played junior hockey in Canada for 4 years before going to Walla Walla Community College in Washington to play baseball. Says 1 out, but actually nobody out. It's wishful thinking. Nothing wrong with that.
Anticipation.
Yeah. That's caught by LaHare. Out! A double play. They got him. So there's still not 1 out. There are 2.
Brian LaHare, in his haste to get his foot back on that bag, kind of got caught in between which foot do I hit it with. It kind of a drop step, but ultimately reaches out with the left foot. And in the estimation of first base umpire Fielden Culbreth, he got there before Aoki.
All of a sudden, 2 outs. Nobody on. Here's Ricky Weeks.
Sometimes it's a base runner that's not very alert, but there was really nothing Aoki could do about this one.
The agony of defeat.
Yeah, like I said, really, he froze when the ball was hit. He just did not have enough time to get back to the bag.
To Weeks. Tell you what, he took that pitch as if he had the green light. It did not get one to his liking. Now, when you were in a 3-0 count when you played, did you take pitches like you would earlier in the count, knowing you wouldn't swing, or did you take every pitch as if you were going to hit it?
I took every pitch like I was going to hit it. I wanted the other team to think I had the green light 3-0, which was wishful thinking on my part, that I'd ever get a hit away on a 3-0 pitch.
As we know, there are occasions on the first pitch or later in a bat where Aramis will just stand there and say, I'm not going to swing. Everybody's a little different.
I always felt even if you were going to take a pitch, it should serve some kind of a purpose. You know, get in a good hitting position, take it like you were going to hit it, just so you can get a good look at that pitch coming to the plate. If you know you're going to take a pitch, maybe not on a 3-0, but I like to show bunt. If I got a take sign to lead off an inning or something, we're trying to get a base runner, they want you to take till you get a strike, I like to show bunt even though I knew I was taking the pitch. Anything you can do to deceive the other team, plant a seed of doubt in the pitcher and catcher's mind, I thought it was worth a shot.
Now, I don't know if Weeks was taking all the way or had the green light, but based on this, I would say he had the green light.
Yeah, it looks like it. The bat waggle, the stride, the hips opened up, the hand started, and then he laid off when the pitch dropped off the outside corner. Sure looked like he intended to swing at that pitch if it was in the zone. And that's something that an advanced scout will make note of. I'm sure Dale Swayman and his staff made a note of the approach by Ricky Weeks, 3-0. Looked like he had the green light.
One and two on Ramirez, who's 0 for 2 today. Called strike 3, frozen, and a comeback sinker to end the inning. Still 1-0.
In-game box score, David DeJesus with the leadoff double in the first inning, scored on a sac fly by Starlin Castro. The only other hit off the bat of Ian Stewart. Cubs have drawn a couple of walks, but it's been a pretty quiet offensive day against the Brewers' Giovanni Gallardo. For a limited time, get incredible lease deals on the 2011 BMW 3 Series. Visit ChicagolandBMW.com for more information.
Gallardo's been a lot better today than he was in his season debut, the opener against St. Louis. Gave up 6 runs, walked 5, allowed 4 home runs. But he is trailing again, this time 1-0. Nationals 2, Mets nothing. Ian Desmond has a couple of hits for Washington. Steven Strasburg in his second start, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts. So his ERA after 2 starts is 0.69.
That ain't good.
It's pretty good. So I guess we begin the countdown. Strasburg has 147 innings left this season. Will be capped at 160. Jesus had a disappointing final and only year with the Oakland A's last season. He was coming off right thumb surgery the previous July. That's when he was with Kansas City 2 years ago. Bounced right back to the mound. 1 out.
We've talked many times over the years about those hand and wrist and thumb injuries and how it always takes a little bit longer to get back to full effectiveness after the rehab process. You may be back on the field playing and swinging a bat, but it takes a little while after that until you finally feel like you're at 100%. And the Cubs were taking a chance on David DeJesus, hoping that that was the case.
He takes a strike and a slider. He has grounded out to the pitcher and fly to center. He punches that one out into center. It's a base hit. It's the third of the day for the Cubs.
Fastball inside part of the plate. Darwin Barney has that approach where he kind of steps in the bucket a little bit with his left foot to really concentrate on clearing his hips, getting that bat through the hitting zone. That time the result was a clean line drive into center field.
Starlin Castro with a sac fly in the first. He's 0 for 1 officially. It's high, 2-0.
Castro looks to let it go on this 2-0 pitch if Gallardo throws him a strike.
He did.
A little bit bigger swing. We saw a lot of that in the Cactus League this spring. 2-0, 3-1. Counts where you figure to get a hittable strike, usually a fastball, and Castro looking to drive the ball, do a little bit more damage this year.
No, they didn't get him. Barney, though, was leaning, and he was fortunate to get back.
He's fortunate that Matt Gamel's a right-handed first baseman as well. Leaning the wrong way, slides to the outside part of the base at first, forcing Gamel to come all the way back with that tag, and he just does get in underneath. may not seem like much, Len, but the width of that base to force that fielder to bring that tag all the way to the back corner of the base sometimes make the difference in safe and out over there on a pickoff attempt. And the good base runners will always slide to that far right field corner of the base.
High fly ball out into deep right center, but playable for Niger Morgan. Barney tagging. Throw to second. Not in time. Another thing the Cubs did throughout spring training.
Fly ball carried to the warning track, and Morgan was backpedaling as he made the catch, so Barney thought it was a safe bet to advance on to second base. And the thing about that throw from right field is if it's not on line, the second baseman is going to have to cut it off and relay the throw to second base, and that's usually enough time for the runner to get in safely. Now, if the throw is right on the money with a strong throw from right field, you may run into an out at second base. But he got himself into scoring position with 2 outs.
For Alfonso Soriano. Torres dropped it. Barney staying at second. Swinging a long one. Good knockdown by Kataris. You talk about this all the time. Kataris was guarding against that because he knew he had a breaking ball coming. It's a lot easier to block than a fastball, for instance.
Yeah, you always anticipate a breaking pitch possibly going into dirt, whether it's a curve, a slider, split finger, straight change up. The fastball is the one that will catch you by surprise from time to time.
Two and one.
Kataris actually got a little lucky that time on that block. I say it all the time. There's no such thing as a bad block as long as you stop the ball. But you could clearly see he was coming up out of his crouch. The ball barely caught in the webbing of his glove. That's when you expose that 5-hole, to use a hockey term. When you come up out of the crouch and come up with your glove, you've got to get lucky. One thing I like Mike Borzello and Artie Peavy and some of the other Cubs catching instructors in spring training, a term they use a lot is chin on chest. It just naturally puts your shoulders and your upper body into a good blocking position if all you focus on is dropping your chin down to your chest as that ball goes into the dirt. He's waiting for that fastball. I dare you. Well, there's a photo op if I ever saw one. Don't walk away.
Another block by Kataris. Full count, 3-2.
It seems like such a simple thing, but that gives the pitcher the confidence to throw that curveball in that location when he's ahead in the count, knowing that your catcher's probably going to keep it from going to the bricks.
Payoff delivery, swing and a miss to end the frame. 6 in the books. We want to know how this guy's at bat finished. I think it was a home run. rotation. Dempster, Garza, Samardzija were excellent. Volstead okay. Mahalam really scuffled in the game last night. You know what? Next time through the rotation, maybe the guys at the bottom who carry it. You never know. Well, Dempster's done his part the second time around as he works into the late innings, facing Matt Gamble, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The Brewers have 3 hits. They've all been singles. That's the other thing Dale Swain preaches. You're going to give up hits. Make them get 2 or 3 to score a run. Keep that opposing team slugging percentage down. And a base hit. Could this be their first extra base hit? Yep, it will. And Gamble is going to stop at second. He did a smart thing, something not all runners do in that spot. He looked at his third base coach, Ed Cedar, who had both hands up in the air.
Well, unless you're 100% sure you can make it to third base, the general consensus is drop anchor out there at second. You got a leadoff double, an opportunity to maybe score a run in this inning. You like the aggressiveness of a base runner. Turn the corner hard at first, go hard to second, pick up your coach, but conventional baseball wisdom would tell you that that's where you should stop.
Corner men in with Gonzalez at the plate. No sign of a bunt. One and one. Lefty James Russell grabs a ball from Lester Strode.
It's a situation where Ron Renicky decided he wasn't going to use his number 6 hitter to bunt a runner into third base with 1 out for his 7, 8, and 9 hitters. Figured he'd rather take 3 shots at it, letting guys swing away.
And a swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Dempster.
Follow the Cubs with the MLB.com @Bat12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at BAT to 31826 or visit Cubs.com for details.
Here's Kataris. A single and a strikeout for the Milwaukee catcher. And low for ball 1. Shank foul into the upper deck of third base.
A little bit of a shift defensively by the Cubs. Put Starlin Castro almost directly behind Matt Gamble out there at second base as he takes his lead. It's going to make it very tough. It's going to have to be a well-placed base hit to score Gamble from second base because Castro is right there to jockey him back close to the bag.
A similar game to the one Ryan Dempster pitched on opening day. Missed some more bats, but it was 1-0 into the late innings. Dempster has a sign from Soto. Here's a pitch. A high deep drive to right. De Jesus is going to run out of room. It's a 2-run homer for George Kataris, his second of the season, and it's 2-1 Milwaukee. Well, he's a backup catcher, but he could do some damage, as he just showed there. He hit for the cycle last year in a game.
Pitch down on the inside part of the plate. Dempster wanted it low and away, and Kataris just scoops it out of here to right field. That ball got up and carried a lot further than it looked like off the bat.
And now Manny Parra is putting his jacket back on. Giovanni Gallardo is on deck. He's only made 86 pitches through 6. Dempster just passing the 100 pitch mark, and Chris Bosio will head on out. Looks like James Russell is ready.
Well, as you mentioned, Manny Parra put the jacket on, sat back down in the bullpen. That may change the pitches that Ryan Dempster elects to throw here to the number 8 hitter, knowing that Giovanni Gallardo will take the at bat from the on deck circle next. If you're facing the number 8 hitter in a lineup, normally you're going to be a little bit careful, knowing that you have the pitcher up next. But when there's a relief pitcher warming in the bullpen, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get a pinch hitter in that 9 spot, so maybe you be more aggressive with that number 8 hitter.
Well, 3-1. Well, we talked about limiting the slugging. Dempster did it through 6, allowing just 3 singles, but a double and a home run here in the 7th. And he now finds himself trailing. And ball 4. New life for Giovanni Gallardo.
Long look into that first base dugout by Ed Cedar, the third base coach, before he ran through his set of signs. Not out of the question that Gallardo be swinging away here with a 1-run lead in the 7th. Runner at first base. Nope, he's going to show bunt. No, he's not. We mentioned at the top of the show, he swings the bat pretty well. He's not a typical throw 3 strikes and get him out of there kind of a guy. You have to pitch to him like you would any other hitter in the lineup.
Gomez takes off. Gallardo hits a fly ball to right. De Jesus has to go back on it, and Gomez will backtrack to first.
I mean, how often do you see a hit and run with a pitcher at the plate?
2 outs, and it's Aoki who will have to face a lefty if he stays in the game. It's going to be James Russell to face him. So Dempster exits, Milwaukee leading the Cubs 2-1. Summary, visit your local Chicagoland Honda dealer today and test drive a 2012 Honda Accord. Orange Kataris with the game-changing two-run homer, his second of the season. David DeJesus, the only Cubs extra base hit and run. That was back in the first inning. There's lefty James Russell.
Well, this pitching change serves a couple of purposes, Len. Number one, you get a lefty on a left-handed hitter, but also it's going to make it a little tougher for Gomez over there at first base to possibly try to steal second against James Russell.
Ball one to Aoki. Also taking over as the top lefty in the Cubs bullpen after Sean Marshall was traded to the Reds.
I've watched James Russell pitch an awful lot, and his move to home plate is very deceptive. On the first delivery to the hitter Aoki, he had Carlos Gomez sprinting back to first base. When he goes home, he looks like he's going to first. Now, sometimes when you don't have a great pickoff move and you show it a couple times, it gives that runner a little better read on when to break for second. Oh my.
Gomez makes it easily and will hit the third. Take a big turn there.
If you don't have a great pickoff move and the runner isn't quite sure, why show him? Don't show him too much. You see, he just took off first movement that time. Soto gets rid of it as quickly as he can. Starlin Castro just whiffed on that throw to second base. It had a little tail on it, but that ball should have been caught. Ooh, that's a tough error on Gio.
2 errors for the Cubs today. And smothered by Soto. It's 3-0 with Morgan on deck. Gomez can fly. He is as smooth a base runner as you'll ever see. It's almost like he hovers above the ground when he runs.
As many as 33 stolen bases in a full season back in 08 with the Twins. The issue for Gomez has just been getting in the lineup and getting on base enough to steal.
3-2 as Aoki spun around. The stretch time with John Grisham and Ernie Banks.
Take me out to the ball game. Best-selling author John Grisham and Mr. Cub Ernie Banks.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Hold on. I want to introduce you all to one of the greatest writers in literary history, Mr. John Grisham.
All right, Cubs fans, let me hear you. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball. I don't care if I ever get back. It's a shame. It's 1, 2, 3.
Oof.
Well, as we mentioned, new life for Yovani Gallardo, who probably would have been removed for a pinch hitter, but his battery mate gave him a 2-1 lead. George Kataris with a home run. Great to have with us in the booth international best-selling author John Grisham, who sang the stretch with Mr. Cub today.
Singing with Ernie Banks.
Yeah.
Probably the first and last time probably in my whole life. I never thought I'd meet Ernie Banks. I had his baseball card when I was a 10-year-old boy.
I know you're a huge baseball fan. You've got a new novel that just came out called Calico Joe, and that ballpark looks pretty familiar.
It's Wrigley Field. Wrigley Field. The story takes place in 1973 here at Wrigley Field. Fictional story. And the Cubs almost make it to the World Series again.
Stewart pops into shallow left, and it will drop for a base hit. Stewart with 2 hits today. Here's the ceremonial first pitch today.
Oh my gosh. I did not throw it in the dirt.
That's the key.
Yeah, always a key. Get it there in the air.
Well, the question I would have is, a good number of your novels have turned into films. Does this feel like it might turn into a movie at some point?
Well, you never know, but there's a lot of interest initially. The first month or so, we send copies out ahead of time, and it's a lot of phone calls, but you learn to be patient and see who's serious about it. I think it's very cinematic, has a lot of potential, and it's about baseball, so we've got our fingers crossed.
See action in the Brewer bullpen. Marco Estrada. So you're from Arkansas, and your favorite player growing up was?
Well, my favorite team was growing up in Arkansas and Mississippi. I mean, we had the Cardinals every night on the radio. My father was a big Cardinal fan. My grandfather. Stan Musial was retiring about the time I, realized. I was born in 1955, but he was my father's favorite player. My favorite Cardinal team was 67, 68. Bob Gibson, Lou Brock, Kurt Flood, Tim McCarver, those guys. They had back-to-back World Series in 67 and 68. And, when I think about my childhood, we go back to those games, and every night we listen to every game on the radio. Every porch, every car had a radio on. It was Harry Carey and Jack Buck, with incredible action, some of which actually happened on the field. With Harry Carey, you never knew what was happening, on the field, but it was always entertaining. It was life and death back in those days.
It was a great time to be a kid, sitting there with that little transistor radio held up to your ear, or, you had to stand in a certain place to get good reception. Yeah, that was good times.
I vividly recall playing Little League Baseball, being on second base, and in the base hit.
Brian LaHare with a single, and Stewart's going to have to hold at second. Cubs have it cooking here, trailing by a run.
But it was not unusual to hear 2 or 3 different radios in the bleachers, or in a car even. We always knew what the score was. And a lot of times the crowd would start clapping because the Cardinals scored. Nothing we did on the field was important, but the Cardinals scored, So it was every game was part of our lives.
As you know, you come to a ballpark like this, doesn't look that much different than it would have back in the 60s.
It's just beautiful. I can't get over how timeless the place is. I've read a lot about it, researched it when I was writing the book, talked to people who played here and people who grew up here, and to see it is truly it's a lot of fun. I want to come back. Maybe not in April. I'm going to come back in the heat of summertime so I can take my shirt off in left field.
There you go. Yeah.
Gary Wood starting to crank it up.
A beer with the bleacher bums.
What do those seats cost now?
More than they did in the 60s.
More than $1, right? More than $1.
Good take by Soto. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs trailing for the first time today. About Gallardo, he's still under 100 pitches. Pitch count not really a concern, but he's in some trouble here. Soto squares and takes a pitch high, 2-1.
So how far away are those buildings in left field? Are there any distance markers on them?
Across the street?
It's 355 down the line. How far away?
Well, there is another
460
on the one, if that's accurate.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good poke, although Glenn Allen Hill hit a ball on the yellow building roof during a game one time for the Cubs.
Oof, Soto was trying to do the same. And
well, you know, Calico Joe hits one 480.
Ooh.
Off the. Let's see, I've already got a mistake in the book. We found a mistake in the book already. If he hits it 480 feet off the building, and that's not enough.
Well, it's a novel, John.
It's fiction. It's all fiction.
It's all fiction.
I can make up this stuff. Okay?
The book?
But I guarantee you, I'll get 25 letters from Cubs fans next month saying you can't hit one 480 feet. It's got to be 460. I was meticulous with the research for that reason, because baseball fans are, just fanatics about numbers, and I'm sure I've made a bunch of mistakes.
Oh, we know. Believe me.
Yeah, you guys hear it. You guys hear it all the time.
Swing and a miss for the first out.
Well, we were joking earlier, John, that Len and I both feel you made the right career choice, leaving the law profession. But that had to be a tough decision for you at the time, didn't it?
The decision to stop playing baseball was not mine. That was made by a college coach who, in 1 week, I proved I could not hit a fastball. I was afraid of a fastball and afraid of a curve. And he said, well, what can you hit? And I said, I can murder a changeup if I know it's coming. And he said, look, I don't. He said, I used to pitch. His name was Brew Ferris. He said, pitchers can be cruel when they spot weaknesses. Mm-hmm. He said, you need to go study, hit the books, and forget about baseball. So that's what I did. Of course, he now takes full credit for my literary success.
There you go.
0-1 to Marlon Byrd. Blake DeWitt is on deck for Russell. First two reached on base hits, and Soto struck out. And now 0-2. Well, we will be in St. Louis on Friday. Cardinals will open the home portion of their schedule. Cubs and Cardinals, always fun.
Without Tony, and without Albert Pujols, it's going to be really strange.
Still off to a very good start under their new manager, Mike Matheny.
Yeah, Don Kessinger played. He was a Cubs shortstop 1964 to 1975, and I don't think he was an all-star, but he's a really good player, a 275 hitter, and then he went to Ole Miss, back where he was from. He's an All-American at Ole Miss in basketball and baseball. He was the head baseball coach there for probably 10 years or so, and now he's retired, living in Oxford. He read the manuscript of Calico Joe just after I finished the second draft, and let's say he found several areas in need of more work. Okay? But he was really good at little specific things about Wrigley, like the locker rooms, and I had this one scene where they're having a pregame meal, like in another room. He said, no. For us, a pregame meal was a folding table covered with, bologna sandwiches. That's all we got back then. But little details that he really saved me on, because I had no way of knowing that stuff.
Even that has changed today. They'll still maybe eat in the clubhouse, but it won't be a bologna sandwich.
No. It's been upgraded, a menu upgrade.
Ready for a 1-2 to Bird.
Strike
3, 2 down.
Looked outside. I can't say that, Ken. You can't criticize the umpires.
Hey, you're the guest. You can say whatever you want.
I can say what you guys want me to say, okay? It was close. Too close to take.
Marlon Byrd is normally a hyper-aggressive hitter. He rarely takes a called strike. Very unfortunate time to take one right there.
Now the pinch hitter, Blake DeWitt. He's batting for Russell. And they're still at first and second. Swing and a miss.
With the research you did for the book, John, you have to feel a little bit like you've gotten a peek behind the curtain at the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, you've had a little insight into what goes on behind the scenes here at Wrigley Field?
Oh, sure. It's fascinating. I wrote a book a few years ago about a base ground ball.
Ramirez will make the play. Gallardo pumps his fist. John, we look forward to reading Calico Joe. Thanks for stopping by today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Good seeing you guys. Take care.
Great to meet you, John.
Let's take a look at our Nissan drive of the game. One home run, and it was a big one. George Kataris, 2-run shot in the 7th.
That's what you look like, or look for rather, in a backup catcher, a guy that can call and catch a good game for your pitching staff and lean into one every now and again. Unfortunately, George Kataris leaned into a Ryan Dempster offering to give the Brewers a 2-1 lead.
Get to a Nissan dealer for great deals on innovation. You can count on innovation for all. Here's Kerry Wood against Niger Morgan. Oh, 2 on Morgan. Going to go inside, and he got him on a breaking ball. Brings up Ricky Weeks. Cutter for a strike.
John Grisham talking about his baseball exploits. Couldn't hit a fastball, could hit a breaking ball, and could hit a changeup if he knew it was coming. That describes a lot of people, I remember, in this game.
Weeks went around. 0-2. 94 on the fastball. It was too high, 1-2. Francisco Rodriguez is getting set for the bottom of the 8th. He got the save last night, filling in for John Axford. Weeks swings and misses, and Woody with back-to-back Ks to start this inning.
Might have gotten away with one there. A slider that just kind of spun up their belt high outer part of the plate, but Weeks was out in front far enough to swing and miss for out number 2 here in the 8th.
A quiet day for Aramis. Didn't do a double play, grounded out, and struck out looking.
Francisco Rodriguez throwing, John Axford stretching. He would figure to pitch the 9th should the score remain the same.
Oh, I thought he was posing for a photo.
He knew we were shooting him. Good cut. What a great location for that pitch. Started it right on that outside corner. Looked like it was going to be a strike at the knees, and then just ever so slightly cut off of that outside corner.
Curveball that time outside. There on the right, that's a vintage Seattle Pilots jersey. That's how the Brewers started, 1969.
As a matter of fact, on this day in baseball history, the Seattle Pilots beat the White Sox 7-0 up in Seattle. Their first home game in franchise history. Gary Bell, the winning pitcher of that game. Maybe that's why he's celebrating.
Swing and a miss. He strikes out the side. Nice job by Kerry Wood. Still 2-1 Milwaukee. It is Francisco Rodriguez back in his normal setup role He got his first save as a Brewer last night, number 292 in his career, first since July 8th of last season when he was with the Mets. He's 24th on the all-time saves list. This is more of a hold opportunity for Rodriguez.
Now Rodriguez with 2/3 of an inning last night to pick up the save. Pitched an inning in the first game of this series. Did walk the leadoff hitter he faced, Darwin Barney, in that game, but got a double play ball off the bat of Alfonso Soriano.
Top of the order for the Cubs, David DeJesus takes a strike. Boy, what a golden opportunity they had in the 7th against Gallardo. The first 2 reached. He never did move off first and second. Nothing in 2. Tommy, I want. No.
No.
Please. Oh, 2. Really close. 1 and 2. Tough one to take, just off that bottom right part of the quadrant. And this time, swing and a miss for out number 1.
Interesting. Usually Francisco Rodriguez is very slow to home plate. His normal delivery is about 1.8 to 2 seconds getting the ball from the mound to the catcher. But on that last delivery to David DeJesus, he used a slide step with nobody on base just to throw David's timing off a little bit, and that particular time it worked.
We'll see Carlos Marmol in the 9th. He's cranking it up in the home bullpen. Guys with real smooth, easygoing deliveries. Well, it's not Francisco Rodriguez. He's a max effort guy.
Really spins off to that first base side of the field, a violent release. I can still remember when Francisco Rodriguez really made his national debut in the postseason in 2002. He was a youngster at that time. Nobody really knew much about him, and he was absolutely dazzling.
Full count, 3-2. The Rays ended up with 4 in the 9th, all charged to Justin Verlander, and they beat the Tigers 4-2. Surprise us a bit if those two teams meet at some point way down the road in October. Barney swings and misses. That is now 5 consecutive strikeouts in this game after Kerry Woods struck out the side. The top of this inning.
Like a two-seam fastball with a little downward movement right there. Darwin Barney swings right over the top. Normally a very defensive, protective hitter with 2 strikes. That time came up empty.
Rodriguez made his debut on September 18th of 2002 and then had that huge postseason. Won back-to-back games against the Yankees in the division series, won 2 more against Minnesota in the ALCS. First pitcher ever to get the first 2 wins of his career in the postseason, and then he became the youngest pitcher to win a World Series game. Under 21 years old, as he beat the Giants in Game 2, so he started that postseason 5-0 before losing Game 4. Yeah, I remember Jeff Kent saying that's the best slider I've ever seen.
And the element of surprise as well. Nobody had seen much of him. Rely on your minor league staff to give you a scouting report, and then the stuff was just electric. Back in the days of the goggles, you were talking about that last night. He used to wear those protective goggles, but since discarded them. Contact lenses.
Good patient at bat for Castro. He draws the 2-out walk. Here's Soriano. Alfonso, the only Cub to hit in all 5 games to start the season. Cubs' only run came in the first inning. Very little since. Best chance to score since came in the 7th. Final in New York, the Nationals shut out the Mets 4-0. Steven Strasburg got his first win. He beat Johan Santana. Way out of the zone there. 1-2.
There's no question Soriano will still chase that pitch from time to time, but what we've seen in the early going this year, he's got a couple of his base hits to right field on that slider just off of the outside corner. One of those right now.
Castro runs, ground ball, foul. Game in New York, 4-0 Washington, just 12 hits combined. 3 hours 36 minutes because of 14 walks.
Wow.
And a bunch of strikeouts. Castro runs again on the 1-2, and the Brewers don't even throw. He's there standing. A tying run now.
Rodriguez uses that slide step, he's tough to run on. When he uses that high leg kick, I could steal a base against him. He's been clocked up to 2 seconds plus delivering that ball to home plate out of that high leg kick. Well, maybe not me.
Well, a single's going to tie it.
Yeah.
Look at Morgan is almost on the warning track. Everybody playing deep out there. Rodriguez with a 2-2. Soriano just staying alive. Ian Stewart in the shade on deck.
A good time for Alfonso Soriano's first base hit against Francisco Rodriguez in his career.
Count holding at 2-2.
That last fastball was a pitch I'm sure Fonzie would like to have back. A low fastball right where he likes it. Just got under it a little bit, fouled it out of play. But other than that, Rodriguez trying to stay away with that off-speed breaking stuff.
Full count. Here comes a 3-2 pitch. Walk back-to-back guys with 2 outs.
Proved to be a pretty good at bat for Alfonso Soriano after chasing a couple of pitches wildly early in the sequence. Got a good swing at the fastball and then takes a changeup in the dirt low and away. Put runners at first and second for Ian Stewart with 2 outs.
Stewart began the contest at $188, but he's up to 263 because of his 2 singles. Outfield still very, very deep. And Stewart cuts and misses.
A lot of motion out there. The high leg kick, the arms pumping, flying off the mound to the first base side, and then floated changeup up there.
0-2. Marco Estrada, just in case here in this 8th inning, would be Axford in the 9th. Carlos Marmol's going to pitch for the Cubs in the 9th. Why not with a lead? Teams around baseball today have struggled with runners in scoring position. 1 for 12 combined in this one. Nationals and Mets combined to go 1 for 20 in that game. inside.
Well, certainly some of the blame can go to the hitters for maybe some overly aggressive swings with runners in scoring position. But more than anything else today, Ryan Dempster and Giovanni Gallardo saved their best stuff for when they needed it the most. Made their best pitches when they were in trouble.
2-2 on Stewart. Castro goes to third, swing and a miss to end the inning. 3 Ks, 2 walks for Rodriguez in an eventful 8th. To play left, he'll hit ninth in the Cubs order. Congrats to Reed and his wife Taryn as they welcomed their new daughter Jordan Elizabeth Johnson into the world this morning. Her second child, joining brother Tyson. I want to congratulate them. Carlos Marmol, the Cubs closer, will get an inning to try to whittle down or at least start that process of his ERA. Keep the Brewers at 2. Matt Gamble had a leadoff double in the 7th, and 2 batters later scored on George Katara's game-changing 2-run homer. Go-ahead shot for the Brewers. That's a strike on a slider. 1-1 the count. About the home team winning most of the games in this season series last year. The Brewers trying to make it 3 in a row here at Wrigley. Old foul right behind the Brewer dugout. Hopefully everybody's all right. Young man brought his glove to the party. Two pitch slider did not catch the back door. Swing and a miss. He got him. It's been strikeout city here for both teams relievers.
Gamble does Marmol a big favor that time. Looked like Carlos tried to really overthrow that 3-2 slider. Didn't take much of the break, but it was in a good location, and Gamble was in swing mode right over the top.
Well, sometimes that slider looks like a changeup. And it does that. Gonzalez swings at the first one and pops it up. Ian Stewart will make the basket grab and foul ground. And the aforementioned Brewers closer, John Haxford, who's had 2 outings and has not been particularly efficient. Included Monday night here. Well, if you're Ron Renicky, Bob, you give Ryan Braun, Jonathan Lucroy, Corey Hart all a rest. You have a chance to steal a win today. For Dale Swain, you feel like missed opportunity if you don't get the win. You know you're going to see probably all 3 of those guys back in the lineup tomorrow.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, take your shots where you can. Obviously, you try to win every ball game, regardless of who the opposition runs out there. But on those given days when you don't see a couple of the superstar players in the lineup, those are games you'd love to take. Talked about it in the past, Len, back in the day, teams just take that West Coast trip. Play the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Giants in the National League. Well, if you're going to give your star player a day off, it's probably going to be at Candlestick Park rather than Dodger Stadium or down in San Diego. So something that Roger Craig, our manager, and Al Rosen, our general manager, tried to impress upon us, to take that as an advantage. You're going to face an undermanned team a lot of times.
The 3-2 is outside, ball 4.
It looked like Ryan Braun had a helmet over there in that first base dugout. He was kind of moving around on the bench over there. Yep. Pitcher spot due up after Carlos Gomez.
No, Ryan, don't worry about it. Just take the rest of the day. Gomez nearly got hit by that tailing fastball. 1 ball, no strikes. Foul pop back our way. Jeremy Hellickson's going to be all right. Make his next start on Saturday after being hit by a ball in batting practice today. Two and two. Never get out of here early for batting practice. You'll watch coaches on either side of the cage hit ground balls. But they wait till the batting practice pitcher throws the pitch. Last thing you want to do is hit a ground ball to the second baseman and have the batter hit a line shot right at the second baseman. Called strike 3 on a slider. So a 2-out walk, no damage done. Last opportunity for the Cubs in the bottom of the ninth. Two to 1 Milwaukee on a home run by George Kataris off Ryan Dempster in the 7th. Well, Ryan has gotten very little run support from his teammates in his first 2 starts. Just 2 runs combined, and right now he'd be on the hook for the loss if John Axford can pick up what would be his 45th consecutive save. Already has the 5th longest save streak, according to Elias, ever. Only got to save 40 more in a row to catch Eric Gagne. Brian LaHare tried to tie it on that first swing. 1 strike. I said Axford hasn't been particularly efficient. On Sunday, in a non-save spot versus St. Louis, 27 pitches to get 2 outs, charged with 2 earned runs. He did get the save in game 1 Monday night here, but it took him 26 pitches to get 2 outs. Only half his pitches have been strikes here early on.
Well, and that can be really concerning to a manager and a pitching coach, because at some point he's going to be unavailable to pitch because of the high number of pitches it takes him to get through an inning, and you may become a little more vulnerable going to whoever your backup closer happens to be.
1 down.
Cubs are familiar with that with Carlos Marmol. We know that occasionally he can run up some incredible pitch totals to get 3 outs in the 9th inning, but he's a very resilient young man and seems to be able to take the ball whenever the Cubs need him to pitch.
Bob, since the 7th inning, there have been 13 strikeouts combined. There's the 1-0 to Giovanni Soto. Swing and a miss. Steve Clevenger on deck in Marlon Byrd's spot. 2 away. Got him on a fastball at 96.
You've heard it called the high hard one. This is it. Just rear back and fire it as hard as you can somewhere in the vicinity of home plate. This time it ends up shoulder high on the inside corner, and Soto can't lay off.
So here is Clevenger batting for the struggling Marlon Byrd.
We talked about it earlier in the ball game as manager Dale Swaim feels that Steve Clevenger is a good fastball hitter, and certainly John Axford is featuring a real good fastball today. Let's see how it ends up.
One ball, one strike. Greinke and Garza tomorrow afternoon to wrap up the series in the Cubs' first homestand. Reed Johnson is on deck. 3-1 on the pinch hitter Clevenger. Pitcher strike on the outside corner. 3-2. Or not?
Yeah, well, it looked good and it sounded good. Guitarist made a loud pop with the glove behind home plate, but that fastball just tailed off the outside corner. Don't want to swing at that one anyway.
Ready for 3-2. Left field, and Steve Clevenger in scoring position at second base. 2 for 2 as a pinch hitter. And he'll be removed for Joe Mather, who will pinch run.
That's just a nice piece of hitting. You have to be ready to hit 96 because that's what Axford has been throwing. Clevenger got that front foot down quickly, opened up the front side just a little bit, but was able to stay on that pitch and drive it to the opposite field for a double.
So Mather runs, and Reed Johnson will get his first at bat. Played in his 1,000th big league game as he pinch hit Monday. Reed has come up with some big late inning hits in his tenure here, trying to do it again. He can do it today for his new daughter. Ball one.
3 previous plate appearances for Reed Johnson against Axford. He's got a base hit and a walk in those 3 plate appearances.
Outfield for Milwaukee not playing nearly as deep as they were in the 8th inning. And he could not hold up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bob, what effect, if any, does it have with the batter generally in the shade and the pitcher in the sun?
Well, not too much right now because the shade is just in front of home plate. That ball's going to travel most of the way to home plate in the sun, and you know, by the time it gets to that shadow, you've already committed yourself to swinging at the pitch. But as that shadow continues to move out between home plate and the mound, that's when it becomes an issue.
Bouncing late on that fastball. 1-2. He's got a quick bat. Couldn't catch up to it. Which would lead you to think Axford will come right back with it. We'll see.
He likes to go up the ladder with that fastball. We saw him do it to Giovanni Soto. A little bit higher than the last one. His delivery is so pure. He's so over the top. A lot of perfect backspin on that fastball. Has very little movement, but a lot of velocity.
It's a foul ball. Qatar is trying to locate it. But Johnson did get a piece of it. Another 2-2 swing and a miss as Axford gets 3 strikeouts in the ninth, and Milwaukee has taken the first 3 in this series. A come from behind 2-1 win today, and we'll have more from Wrigley Field after this.